What's going on? It's Adam McInnis, and you're here at Music Industry Contact, and we are going to break down today's song, SHINee's song called Don't Call Me. If you're new to this channel, what I do is in-depth breakdowns of songs. I show you the inner workings of how these tracks are created, all the sonics that are going on, the harmonies, the ad-libs, really the main structure and framework of these hit songs. Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so we can make sure we keep giving you these videos. I release 1 or 2 a week here on YouTube, and then we also have a Patreon channel because we're not allowed to monetize here on YouTube. So if you like the videos and you can support this channel, we'd really appreciate it because it allows us to keep doing this content and keep giving to you in a timely fashion. Let's listen to it now.
I promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
If you don't call me, check this out, y'all. Don't call me. I don't want you back, don't call me. Don't call me. I keep saying next time and I'm saying your life. Don't call me, don't call me. 깊어진 밤 집요하게 벨이 울려 It's your calling 고집스럽고 지독하지 그게 바로 너 스티커 너무 쉽게 포기 못해 그 성질 버리지 못해 온종일 내 이름만 서치해 내 흔적들을 찾아 핥아대 내 아침을 망치곤 해그 패턴은 뻔해 관심 꺼줄래 I know where you came from 그대로 나의 shawty 사라져줄래 저리 Don't think about calling 넌 못 버티겠지 집착뿐이겠지 나처럼 잘한 사람 없을 거니까 너도 참 피곤했지 전부 꾸며 대니 머릿속 꽤나 어지러웠을 거야 미쳤어 너.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I usually like to stop right before the chorus gets fully into it because I want to really try to break down that verse and the pre-chorus and the intro because a lot of information is usually put in those first couple sections. We call it foreshadowing in production, where you might show someone a little bit of something in the very beginning. And it's only because you're going to bring it back at the end. So let's just see what they're doing real quick.
I promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
If you don't call me, check this out, y'all. Don't call
okay.
me. I don't want you back, don't call me.
So they're introing with the chorus title, which is very important. Right when it comes in, it's like, don't call me, don't, doom, doom. So I want you to think of it in the rhythm that's being set up. It's like, doom, 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 tack, 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 tack. So that's the groove that's being created. So the drums are always going to follow that. It's always going to follow that because that's what's being set up in the vocal melody. Also, when you intro a song with the title, it makes it easier for a new person who doesn't know the group, who doesn't know the music to instantly remember what's been repeated the most. So if you start with the song with Don't Call Me in the beginning, and then you put Don't Call Me in the next chorus and Don't Call Me again, it's very easy for someone to say like, oh, what was that song I heard before? And the brain accesses what was most said. So when you think, what was that song called? Your brain will say, oh, I remember they said, don't call me a lot. And then you can search it. So that's part of the trick of this. All right, so let's look at how they're doing the production and how they intro everything.
Next time and I'm saying your life.
All right, this is really interesting. I don't know if you can hear this, but in the very background, it sounds like someone's going, yeah. So try to hear if you can hear that.
I keep saying next time and I'm saying your life.
See, listen to the bass. The bass line's in the same thing as that don't call me. It's like doom, 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 doom. Like I said would happen. It's following the rhythm that's being created because a good groove is a groove that has drums, bass, and vocal melody all synced into one. So it feels like it's just all rolling and nothing's conflicting. So let's keep listening. Don't call me, don't call me. Now this bass line changes for here. That's super cool.
내 흔적들을 찾아 핥아대 내 아침을 망치곤 해 그 패턴은 뻔해 관심 꺼줄래 I know where you came from 그대로 나의 샤리 사라져.
All right, so there's a lot going on already. It's a lot of rhythmic sections. So it's kind of hard sometimes to follow all the pieces for the average person, right? So meaning if you didn't know this song and you just hopped in, there's a lot going on. You have a bass line that's going on. You have hi-hats going on. There's a lot of rhythmic sections in the melody. So let's just look at what's happening because there's happening in sections, right? And they're creating something called the power of three. And I'm going to count some of it out for you so you can hear it. Definitely the power of three happens in the intro. Don't call me, don't call me, don't call me. A power of three is when someone repeats a melodic phrase or a lyric, even a rhyme, 3 times or more in a row. So let's listen to what they're doing one more time.
깊어진 밤 집요하게 벨이 울려 It's your calling 고집스럽고 지독하지 그게 바로 너 스티커 너무 쉽게 포기 못해 그 성질 버리지 못해 온종일 내 이름만 서치해 내 흔적들을 찾아 핥아대.
Okay, so here's what they're doing. I said there's a power of 3. There's also something called a 2x2. So in this section, at least in this part, they're using a power of 3 in the beginning, which is don't call me, don't call me, don't call me, don't call me. Then on the verses, they're using a 2x2, which is doing a melody twice, melodic structure twice, and then changing it twice on the back half. So the first 2 lines are pretty much the same, and the second 2 lines are pretty much the same. So now that you know that information, intro, power of 3, verses, 2x2. So I'll show it to you by counting it out for you. So that's first melody. Yeah. So now they're going to repeat it. 2. Now they're going to change it. Now check this out. That's the same melody as this one. Then they're changing it here. And they're going to repeat it. 2x2. So if you hear it, that even the next section went dump a dump on here, dump a dump on here, dump a dump on here. So that's the power of 3 right there. You can listen to it one more time.
이름만 서치해 내 흔적들을 찾아 핥아대 내 아침을 망치곤 해그 패턴은 뻔해 관심 꺼줄래 I know where you came from 그대로 나의 샤리 사라져 줄래 저리 Don't think about calling
넌 못 버티겠지 집착뿐이겠지 나처럼 잘한 사람 없을 거니까 너도 참 피곤했지 전부 꾸며 댄
So if you listen to it, dum 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 dum. If you're really listening to these fragmented structures, you'll realize it's all connected. It's part of melodic math. How do you connect these pieces to make sure that they all feel like it's flowing, but are giving the listener something just enough interesting so you don't get bored? Listen to the build of tension.
미쳤어 넌 You don't know you waste my time
Build of tension.
최악이야 When I hit your call 끝났어 너의 love Don't worry now 사랑하면 보내줘 Don't worry now 계속 말하잖아 Next time 넌 없어 in your life 네 사랑 난 이제 아니야 지워 날 잊어버려 제발 난 널 몰라 So 네가 좋아하지 마
All right, cool. So here are a couple of things we're going to break down. One is when they go into the Don't Call Me, there's a couple snare rolls that build up. When we're paying attention to these songs, a lot of it's going to be tension and release. What is creating tension so that way when it gets to a certain point, we can release the tension and make that feeling that happens where the body starts to build up like what's gonna happen? Then all of a sudden, boom, it releases. Now, sometimes we'll release into a chorus and sometimes we'll release into another part that builds up again. So in this case, it goes, then the drums come out. Don't call me. The drums are out. Call me. And then you hear the pickup will start to go again. Don't call me. And then it builds up. And then he starts to sing vocally so high that it ramps. And that's usually how choruses work. It goes up in the verses, it goes up the pre-chorus, it maybe drops down a little bit before the chorus hits. And then when the chorus hits, it delivers you with a shot of adrenaline. That adrenaline is a chemical that is used to bond you to the music. Now, in this case, he's singing much higher. There's a lot more higher frequency sounds going on, and it keeps you in this interesting space, right? So I don't personally know the language. I'm reading the closed captions while I'm breaking this down. But I want you to understand this, the overarching structure of how this all works. So that way, when you're listening to it, you can start to hear, oh, what's in the background there? They're playing louder notes, higher notes in the background to accentuate the fact that we're building up more tension, more adrenaline, more of this chemical that can bond us to the song. So that's what's happening behind the layer of the music and why the musical choices tend to follow that expression, okay? That bass line is still going because that's one of the major hooks in the song. So listen to that snare. It's to build tension. Tension builds out. Just to build back up. This is the riser.
So bad. The morning now, the morning now, no. 계속 말하잖아 next time enough in your life. 네 사랑은 이제 아니야. 지워도 잊어버리지 마. 난 널 몰라. 손에처럼 하지 마. 아직 같은 꿈 속에서 포기 못했니? I'll never pick up. 지워버렸어. I'm gonna save my life.
Pause right there. So there's a lot of interesting things going on here. Some of it is, and I'm going to back it up so you can hear the bridge. It's a mixture of single vocal, which is right at the middle, spread vocal, which makes it feel more encapsulated, and then harmony stacks. Okay. So for anyone who's new to this, I highly recommend there's a course that's being taught in our private group. You might want to check it out. It's a harmony course, which teaches you how to listen to all the layers that are used by these singers and how the producers create all of this. It's very, very impactful how, like, you'll take a course that we have and literally your ear will grow in a week. You know, you'll really be able to listen to all kinds of songs and go, oh my God, I hear all this new information that's going on. So I want you to pay attention. You're going to hear a single vocal. You'll hear stacked vocals. And the way you can know if it's stacked vocals, if you're listening on headphones, you'll feel it kind of fill up on the left and right side. And then you're going to hear harmonies, which is going to be layered in the different notes they're singing. So try to pay attention to all of those as we go into this bridge. That's a single vocal. Hear the vocals on the side. That's a harmony right there. All right, so if you listen to it, it's like, sing my love, and then hear the delay that comes after it. So it's going to go, la, 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 la.
For the next call. Sorry, the number you have called has been disconnected. 끝났어, love.
Interesting. Now they have that piano.
난 찾을 거야, love. My love. 더 아름다운. 지독했던 너와 나. So bad. 잊을 수 있는. Don't worry now. 계속 말하잖아, next time when I'm in your life. 네 사랑은 이제 아니야.
Okay, so this is like two bridges going on. And adding that piano is very interesting. Let me hear some real quick.
Disconnected.
Don't call me. Don't call. Yeah, it felt like the key changed. All right. So first of all, when they go into this interesting piano, it's almost like a classical jazz piano. It's very, very interesting. It's kind of sporadic, but still tight, which is cool. And then they go into almost like another bridge where they do another build, which I'm assuming is going to go into like that bigger chorus. So listen to this piano going on.
Next call. Sorry, the number you have called has been disconnected. 끝났어, love. I said I don't want it now. so bad.
잊을 수 있는
Don't worry now.
계속 말하잖아 next time은 없어 in your life 네 사랑은 이제 안녕 지워 날 잊어버려 제발 난 널 몰라 so 내게 전화하지 마.
Oh, and that's the end. All right, so let me give my professional opinion. First, I always go to think, would I put this on my playlist, right? Now, we all have different tastes of music. So the first thing I would say is this is not a song that I would put on my playlist, but I know more importantly why. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of things going on from the different rhythmic sections, from the different bridges, from the pianos, and there's key changes. There's a lot of stuff going on, which sometimes can be very impressive. Sometimes that can be very distractive. For me, it would be a little bit distractive. Now, like I said, we all have different kinds of music. I tend to like music that is soulfully captivating and makes me feel inspired after I listen to it in a way that I can take throughout my day and puts me in a certain mood or place. This one is more like grabbing my attention. Like each section grabs my attention, which means I have to pay attention to it. I can't just put it in the background and listen and kind of just vibe out because I'm thinking of something or working on something or reading or studying. It doesn't have those energies to me. So I most likely wouldn't put it in my playlist, but I can see how someone who really likes music and likes this song in particular might say, oh, I like all the changes that are going on. As far as production, it's super slick, meaning the pop production using that bass line is very hooky. And if you really pay attention, there's several hooks going on in the song. That bass line is one of the major factors of them. And you'll notice this in other songs, especially that are inspired by anything that's Motown or Michael Jackson, or you're going to notice that a major part of the song is the hook of the bass line and the groove of the melodic structure singing along with the bass line. All right, at some point of the song. So anyway, that being said, I think it's a solid track. Now let me think about vocally. I would say really solid voice. Some of those high notes, full voice, were really hard to hit. That's a pure tenor. That's someone who can really hit those notes. Is it the kind of voice I would want to sing, I want to hear over and over again? And in that pace, I'm a little unsure. I'm a little unsure only because I've listened to so much music lately that I'm hearing a lot of artists that kind of sound similar. And I'm not saying that's wrong because people are all influenced by other artists and, you know, different stages of their voice. But for me personally, I like to listen to artists that don't sound like anyone else. You know, that's the whole reason why I'm listening to them. It's kind of like if I'm going to go eat a meal, I want that meal to not taste like the same meal I can get anywhere. Even if all the dressings are great and the restaurant looks nice and all these things that are particular are done well, I still want that meal to be completely unique. And in this case, I'm like, everything sounds good. Everything looks good. And all these things are done, but I didn't hear anything that was so unique to me from all the other songs I've been referencing, especially in the K-pop genres over the last couple 4 or 5 months I've been doing this. I'm starting to hear things that sound very, very similar. So in that, I can only give my response based on what I feel is truly unique to the marketplace and unique to my ears from what I've been listening to. But that being said, it's solid all around. Obviously, 58 million people listen to it. So it's a great track and people are sharing it. So that's really what's more important is how does it interact with the fans? You know, I think that's at the end of the day, no matter what anyone says as a reaction, how does your music connect with your fans is the most important thing. And 58 million people are listening to it, then obviously it's doing something well with the fans. And for that, I say great. All right, that being said, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe so we can make sure we can keep seeing more of these videos. And if you want to support us on Patreon, we'd really enjoy it and we'd appreciate you coming over there. And we invite you to spend more time with us on Patreon and you can get more exclusive content. You get it first before it's seen here on YouTube. And there's more content delivered on Patreon as far as these videos, so you can even grow your golden year even more. That being said, be good to yourself, be good to others. I will see you soon.
Give me some of that power.